you. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Hello, fellow Toastmasters. We're doing good this evening. I had a game plan, and then I'm switching it up, and I'm finding out about myself that I'm notorious for that, for switching things up. However, I realized something about public speaking. You need to know your audience. So, in order to prepare for my next speech that will be coming, I would like to present some information, some basic information to you today. All right, a little bit of backstory here. So I'm going to be speaking in New York in April. I was fortunate to speak there last year at NFT NYC. Does anybody know what NFT means? If you do, raise your hand. You don't need to answer me. That is why we're starting where we are today. Because if you guys don't know the acronyms or what I'm saying, it's going to be really hard for me to gather feedback from you. So I decided instead of just doing the initial plan was 10 minutes of telling you what NFTs are and such. And then I was going to switch gears and do the 10-minute New York talk, round one. We'll see if we even get into the New York talk. I think I'm going to table that for later because I would love to share with you, first off, the basics of blockchain technology, wallets, NFTs, and POAPs. I've divided it into 4 things. And the reason I chose those 4 words is because they consistently come up in my New York speech. Follow me here? Okay, so who has ever heard of blockchain? Raise your hand. Again, you don't have to say anything. Wonderful. For those of you who haven't, I'm going to try to summarize this up. First off, a little backstory. The concept of blockchain technology was thought of and written way back in 1991, and it was really just to timestamp transactions in a way that they could not be tampered with. Okay? It got popularized later when someone named Satoshi Nakamoto came up with Bitcoin. Bitcoin was a cryptocurrency that is founded on the blockchain technology. If you indulge me for a minute, I'm going to invite you all to my blockchain. I would like you to sign this awesome heart that I did on my own. Please look at it, sign it, pass it around as quickly as you can. Well, it doesn't have to be super quick. And then I'll get it from Sajin after we're done. So Satoshi Nakamoto came up with Bitcoin, and that kind of brought blockchain to the light of day. Now you say, what makes it so special? So a block is a piece of information. Here's my starting hash. Here's my information. The next piece of information gets added to it and links up. So now I'm piece of information number 2. This hash was block number 1's hash. Here's my new information, and here's my hash. The next block of information gets put on the chain. They link up. This is your hash. Here's new information added. Here's my hash, my identification number, if you will, and so on and so forth. So you see, if somebody wanted to mess with this, it would cause a reaction to mess with everything. That is possible right now, but not with the blockchain, and here's why. Because we have something called general consensus. Consensus is when everybody reaches agreement. The blockchain is on a public system, meaning if you participate in it, you participate in the consensus. Follow me here? Okay, so in order, let's say, Bill, you have a copy of these colors. These colors are red, yellow, green. Red, yellow, green is the pattern. You have a copy as well. And Sajin, you have a copy too. I'm coming in, no, I didn't run that light. It was actually red, green, yellow. That's why I'm trying to put that information out there. Is that going to get accepted? Even if I try to put it out there, why not? Because you don't have that copy, and you don't have that copy, and you don't have that copy. So my copy's not going to fly. It's not going to work. Therefore, it's really, really hard to disrupt a block of transactions without it being rejected. You're going to reject it because you're like, no, I know that that's not right. You see how this works? How are we doing on that heart here? Okay. Wonderful. Thank you. Beautiful signatures. I like it. So By signing this, you guys are now called nodes. N-O-D-E-S, okay? Nodes are what form consensus on the blockchain. If we want to get really nerdy right now, in order to have a node, generally you have to own a certain amount of that block, okay? So you say, my computer's going to do the work here, and I'm going to own a certain amount, therefore I can verify things. But everybody will have a copy. Everybody has a copy of the same block. Now, where is this stored? So first, let me gear back a little bit. We talked about Bitcoin. Bitcoin's a cryptocurrency that's operated on a blockchain. You also might have heard of other cryptocurrencies. Dogecoin, Ethereum, they all came up with their own blockchain. So they all operate on the same method, but it's a different chain. Follow me here? So where do we store these cryptocurrencies, or where do we store our portion of our blockchain assets? Well, we like to call them wallets, just like you would store your money in your wallet. We have different versions of wallets, just like we have different versions of ways to store our current money. So you can store your money right now in a savings account, a checking account, cash, your piggy bank, your actual wallet. There's lots of ways to do that, right? And they each have their own level of security and ease of use. If you have cash or a card right in your pocket, it's pretty accessible. If you have your money in a Roth IRA, it's going to be a little bit harder to pull. You're going to have to go through a little bit more steps of security. Same thing with our cryptocurrency. We have hardware wallets, and we also have wallets that are just off of, let's say, an app called Coinbase. Okay? So there can be hardware wallets, and they can be wallets that are just stored on apps. This is a ledger device. This is an example of what a hardware wallet looks like. I'm going to pass this around. You can take a look at it. You can't get inside it because you don't know the private key, which is really fun about wallets. So wallets have a key, kind of like your checking account has a routing number, an account number, that sort of thing. Wallets also have a phrase, a specific phrase. Now, when you open a wallet, let's say you opened one on Coinbase, or you opened a package of a hardware wallet from Ledger. When you open that wallet, it's going to give you this phrase, and you need to write down these words in the order that it gives you. You do not want to type these out. You don't want to write them down and then take a picture. You don't want to type them into your Google Doc. Good old-fashioned pen and paper. Okay, because that is your access into your wallet. Just like if somebody had your password into your bank account, or if somebody knew what the lock to your safe was. Exact same thing. So if you're going to open an account, I would suggest you write down your seed phrase, maybe write down 2 copies, and you can keep them somewhere safe. It's up to you. Some people even divvy them up and are famous for putting different keywords in different bank accounts, and then they just know what order they go in. You're done with the wallets? So these are fun because they're hardware wallets. Now the great thing about hardware wallets is not only are they extra safe, but I can make them offline or online, which makes them hot or cold. So one of these wallets has never been linked to the internet whatsoever. It has had a transaction come to it, but this has not actually been linked to anything online. That is called a cold wallet. A hot wallet, I can do transactions back and forth. Okay, I can purchase things, I can send money to my friend, whatever. That's a hot wallet because it's in active use. So there's 2 different ways of security on that one. If you never told your spouse about one of your bank accounts, you can consider that a cold wallet. So we've covered basics of blockchain, the basics of wallets. Now we're going to go on to one of my favorite things, NFTs. Does anybody know, just by show of hands, who knows what an NFT is? Okay, perfect. So an NFT can be a lot of things. But when we first think of NFTs, we might think of a simple picture, maybe of a monkey. So you might have heard of Bored Apes. They're probably Bored Apes and Punks if you've heard of NFTs, are probably the most famous NFTs. But I promise you that it goes beyond a simple digital picture. But first off, NFTs are non-fungible tokens. So with non-fungible tokens, they can be anywhere from art to music to access, IP, membership, coupons. I like to say this. If your Costco card that you have to show the person when you walk in was on your phone, and you could prove I own it because it's on the blockchain, so it's like, oh, it's in my wallet, it's mine. I mean, nobody questions you when you pull out your ID from your wallet, right? Same thing, just digitally. So if your Costco membership was on your phone instead, if they put it on the blockchain and said, this belongs to Bill Marlowe, that's his, that would be an NFT version of your Costco card. Now that card might get you coupons, but mostly it gets you membership or access. Who here has ever kept a concert ticket? Yes. Now, as we move into a digital era, some of them are no longer printing concert tickets. Instead, they are giving them to you on your mobile device. If you've used Ticketmaster, same thing. You get to scan something, but that kind of takes away some of the memorableness of it, doesn't it? So, some people are now starting to put their concert tickets as NFTs on the blockchain. You can use it, you get access in, but then you get the digital memory afterwards. And please do not tell me that digital memories are not worth it, because I know y'all show pictures of your kids on your phones to people. You don't pull out your paper ones very often anymore, do you? No, it's just not how it works. So we really are moving into a digital era where our memories and our digital assets, the things that we're proud of, our collectibles, can be stored on there. So let's think of a couple of other things for NFTs. Imagine with me that Nike made a special swoosh picture. We'll just call it a picture. Okay? They put this picture on the blockchain. There's versions of it, and you can own one for amount of whatever. Now you own a Nike swoosh. Now with certain Nike swooshes, let's say they put out a Nike theme song. And if you have this Nike swoosh, then you have part ownership of this song. And then every time that song gets played, you get a 0.1% royalty. Would you want to own that Nike swoosh? Yeah, a lot of kids are doing that now when they're coming out with songs. We saw with Taylor Swift how she had to re-record everything. She didn't own it anymore. This takes it a step even further than that. You don't even have to have a music production company produce your music. You can produce it, put it on the blockchain,